9 podcasts.
Genuinely, Bunnings is the new dating app.
Yeah.
Like, swap Tinder for Timber
Ah!
and Grindr for angle grinders.
Shut up. Have you written this yourself?
Try before you die.
I didn't want to flag this at the time, Lib, but I'm going to give some feedback to you now. I was nauseoso on the way here with you driving.
Oh, I'll tell you why you were nauseoso, because you were sitting on your laptop doing your podcast notes while I was driving. And we've both acknowledged that we feel sick when we're on our phones or
Yes.
reading anything when we're driving. So let's maybe not blame me for my driving, which is very good, and blame yourself for being on your laptop.
Oh, maybe I can put blame on what was happening around you, because there were people like on bikes really swerving into our lane and stuff, and you had to do a few jerky manurky moves.
You were on your laptop. End of convo. Let's move on.
Speaking of laptop, there's a 50% chance my laptop will run out of juice this episode, just FYI.
Plug it in.
Well, we'll see. It's Russian roulette. We're running the running the gauntlet. Okay? Just FYI on two
Actually, that might be nice,
matters.
and I'll finish the podcast on my own.
Oh, no, it won't shut my mouth. It'll just shut the laptop.
Sadly.
I'm
only.
excited about today's episode, Lib. It's
You're doing hand motions as if you're running.
Running Man. It's so on brand for us in so many areas.
Like, sort of, but also not.
Well, no, it's on brand for us in that we're trying something that ends up becoming a bit of a cluster.
Yeah, actually, there you go. That's true.
Why don't you take the floor?
I'm actually not used to this. I'm a bit rattled.
Yeah.
So this week we are trying DIY, which is do it yourself gear.
Oh, I'm glad you added that, because I didn't have that on my notes to
I didn't
mention.
actually either. I just thought of it then. Well done, me.
Well done, you.
Improv.
And
Anyway, I hadn't finished.
yeah. But I just wanted to say we chose a certain location. for
Yes,
this.
well, that's what I was just going to say.
Okay, good.
So we tried a trip to Bunnings.
Yeah. There are plenty of hardware stores
Mm.
that one could recommend. We just happen to be in the vicinity of a Bunnings.
We love them all.
Love's a strong word.
We have gone to them all.
Yeah. We have gone to them all. We have utilised them all. We will be talking about said Bunnings that we visited today, and it was actually quite a wonderful journey.
I'm not sure if wonderful's the right word in terms of it was up and down like a bit of a roller coaster for us.
I walked out having had a wonderful time.
Okay. I wish you'd flagged that at the time. You didn't walk out and say, oh, I just had such a wonderful time in
What
there.
would have been more wonderful is if I'd got a sausage at the sausage sizzle, because we went on a Saturday. Do sausage sizzles only happen on a Saturday?
And Sunday? Or every day? Surely not.
No.
Surely people aren't going on a
Weekend,
Wednesday and
weekend,
getting
weekend.
a... Yeah, weekend.
But Lib yelled at me and said, can you shut up about the sausage sizzles? You're not getting a sausage. It's breakfast time. But people, so people have... people have sausages for breakfast, don't they? In their full English breakfast.
Yeah. But we live in Australia.
Well, anyway, why do they start the sausage sizzle early if they aren't telling you it's acceptable to have one early?
It's only for people that are hungover.
No, and kids after sport and things like that.
Well, I don't know. Why don't you listen to me? You're your own person. Go get a fucking sausage, brother. You're just saying to me how, like, you really want to try and, like, eat healthy and you feel so disgusting and
You
stuff.
know
And
me-
then you want a sausage for breakfast. I'm trying to help
me
you.
Saying things is different to what I actually plan to do.
Yes, I'm well aware.
But also,
While you bite into your croissant.
I think, stopped myself because one, unfortunately, isn't enough. And I just think it's too mortifying to go up and ask for 3, which would be my amount of choice.
I think a lot of people would do that, to be
You
fair.
think?
Yeah.
That is a female
Yeah.
of my height. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'll
'Cause
freely do it next time.
They'd be like, oh, yep, one for left cankle, one for right
Yeah.
cankle, one for mouth.
Yeah, okay. Feeding my cankles.
Feeding the
The
cakes.
people love to do it.
Um,
So why did we go there?
Well, now one would think that having been on the block, that we would know the ins and outs of building a house because we did it in 12 weeks on this reality TV show. One might think we would know our way around a hardware store.
Yep.
And that we would feel quite comfortable there.
Yep.
And quite empowered in there.
Yep.
In actual fact, we're quite embarrassed to step foot in there. And the anxiety is high.
Yes. So we've actually got dumber since the block. It's like cramming for an exam, I think.
Mm.
So when we were on the block, we were cramming our minds full of stuff. And we were surrounded by experts who guided us.
And then you just immediately forget it.
Yeah.
Is that what you, yeah.
So the moment that you leave that zone, it leaves your brain.
you erase the trauma. It's like childbirth, you know. You're in so much pain.
yeah, you know.
It's the equivalent to, well, what I hear is that, you know, people are like, never going to do it again because of all this shit that's going on. And then as soon they forget the trauma.
Yeah.
And then they just.
But I'm more saying we forgot all the information that we obtained.
but
it leaked
the
because we
information
left the
is the
environment.
trauma.
Rightio.
We always tend to put off a trip to Bunnings. Like, how many times are we in the car on a Saturday morning and we're like, oh, should we go? And I'll be like, oh, I'm just not
don't
in the
have it in me.
mindset for it. I don't have it in me. I don't have the energy. I'm not in the mood. I feel like you have to be in the mood to go there.
Yes, but we procrastinate and we psych ourselves out because we know that, A, we won't be able to successfully locate what we need because we don't even really often know what we need. And 2, because we know we'll walk out with 100 extra things.
Yep, and having spent a lot of extra money.
Do you, every time since the block that you've walked into a hardware store, do you ask yourself, how in God's name did we build a house? And I know we had a lot of help, but given we can't even choose a paint colour for a white wall, it is just baffling to think that we chose multiple different colours for multiple different things.
I ask myself this on a daily basis, not just when I walk into a hardware store.
Yeah,
Like, how did
okay.
we build a house?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because
It's
just
baffling.
It truly is baffling. I feel like it feels like an out of body experience
Yes.
now, doesn't it? And
The
that
two
it wasn't
other-
actually us.
The 2 other quite capable humans took on.
But for some reason on this particular day, I don't know, we felt up for it. Maybe I think I'd probably been to the gym. You'd had, you know, your eggs Benny for breakfast or
Well,
whatever.
yeah, you'd eaten, so you
we
weren't
were
hungry.
fueled. We were quite fueled. But in terms of whether we're handy, there ain't a handy bone in our body.
You're more handy than me. We don't have a man in the house. Not to say you need a man in the house, but it is nice having someone handy around. And we did not have that growing up. Our Faja worked 24/7. Very hard for us to provide for us. Thank you, Faja.
He was handy on the medical tools, not so
Yes.
much on the building
And that's
tools.
because he is a doctor. He didn't just play
Yeah,
with medical
thank you.
tools for fun
Oh,
out the
yeah.
back. But he therefore wasn't present a lot. And so therefore, and mum's not handy. I would not put the word handy by
her name.
her name. So therefore we would just hire a trade or a handyman and we would just sit back and watch.
So then we went from home to then living in apartments all our
Yes.
lives.
Yeah.
So then anything that happens within the apartment that breaks or whatever, we just call the
Property
manager. I couldn't quite get that out. To come and a
Send
trade comes
someone.
and fix it. So we've never actually had to fix
No.
anything ourselves. And also, like, when someone can do it for you, why would you do it yourself?
Because if you own your own house, maybe you have a crack at things more than if you're renting. Because if you're renting, you just call someone and
Well, you don't-
report the issue.
you're not
and
paying for it.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
the landlord's paying for
But
it.
you would be, yes, the more capable one of the 2 of us. You're the one who is stronger. You can carry stuff, lift stuff, and you're better than me at doing
flat packing.
flat packs.
Well, I think it's probably not so much the fact that I'm better at it, but more so that I do it because if it was up to you and I left
Yeah.
it to you, you just would
wouldn't do
leave
it.
the box there.
Correct. Yeah.
So if it needs to get done, you need me on the case.
Yeah.
That's the
But that's the moral of life with anything to do with our whole existence.
and also you have the strength of a jellyfish.
Yeah. Yep.
So it doesn't.
Yeah.
it doesn't
So,
help.
and I get distracted.
Yeah. Like the extent to the stuff that we get fixed in our apartment, my toilet roll holder fell off the wall in my bathroom and we called a tradie to come and fix it and he literally walked in, he went zh, with the drill
Yeah.
and walked out again.
And we came away with a hand drill from the block. You should have
Yeah.
done that. Is there a reason you didn't? Couldn't find the drill?
I genuinely probably wouldn't have known how to
Oh,
do it. No, because
bullshit.
it wasn't.
Even
it had
I'd be able to have a crack
cover,
at that.
Had like a cover thing on it, so you couldn't just drill it. You sort of had to. I don't know. Anyway, but you know what? I probably got paid $500 for that, so piece for
But
him.
also I think the risk is if we had a crack at it and it went wrong, then we're going to be liable for the
Are we?
damage that we've done by not seeking professional help. I believe so. I could be making that up.
We've got a very very basic bitch tool bag
Yes.
at our house that just
Yeah.
has like what are they called? Screwdrivers. We've got a hammer. We've actually got a saw, which I'm not really
No,
sure
I
why.
took that from somewhere and it's never had its
Oh, did
cover
you?
taken off. Yeah.
Most of this stuff that we've got has never been opened.
or touched. We actually came across a big bucket the other day that was full of no filler. Is that what it's called?
No more gaps.
No more gaps, and a spatula.
We also have a sander,
we have a sander,
a handheld
hand
sander.
a hand drill. A lot of this was collecting serious dust.
Yeah, but I would like to be more handy if I'm honest. I don't think you care about it, do
could
you?
give two
I
shits.
wouldn't mind being a bit more self-sufficient because we're not going to be, well, I probably am going to be single forever.
Yeah.
So I need to be
You
more
need
self-sufficient.
to. I'll have a child that I can train up to be handy.
Oh, okay.
But you are going to be alone.
So on this particular day of our Bunnings visit, we literally went in, and I think this is why we were maybe keen to do it on this day, because all I needed to get, and you were
Yes.
coming with me, was a sturdy hand holder thing for my hairdryer.
What do you mean hand holder? You mean just a holder on the wall?
I meant just
that
a holder.
holds
Yeah.
the hairdryer.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I've got a bit of I can't think straight today.
I know.
Apologies. I'm probably
Have
getting
you
one of my
eaten?
migraines, to be
Oh
fair.
God.
'Cause
Have
I've
you
been
eaten?
A bit slurry. I have eaten. And so technically, it doesn't really classify as DIY when you're just peeling off
no.
a sticker and chucking it on your wall.
However, how this evolved is that we walked in for a hairdryer holder, which is a weird. It's a weird place to go
I'll tell you
for a
why.
hairdryer.
Because I
holder.
have bought a hairdryer holder from that many places.
Typical
And
places.
they are shit house and they just fall down as soon as you put the hairdryer in. So I was like, I need Bunnings or I know it's going to be strong and sturdy.
And
That's
how's it
why.
going so far?
Wonderful.
Okay, so walked in for one thing. Should we list what we came out with?
Yes.
Go forth.
So we went into the plant section just to have a little peruse and we came out with herbs. What herbs did we buy? Basil, coriander, thyme, chives, parsley.
Yeah.
5 lots of herbs, a lemon tree, a lime tree, a couple of just normal plants, some soil, some pots. We have, honest to God, the amount of times that we have bought herbs from
Yeah.
Bunnings, we're keeping their plant section alive.
Yes, and also we always say to ourselves, when these ones die again, no more.
No more.
But we walked in and we were re-inspired.
And I just, we just fall for
It's
the
hopeless.
lovely, blushing, flushing
Yeah.
herb garden.
But the
that
minute they enter the pots we put them in, they
they
droop
die.
and they pass away.
Probably because we also don't take the advice of the people that actually help us out.
Oh, the plant man, we literally fell off our chairs. He was telling us that in summer you've got to water the lemon trees every day. And we're like, I beg your actual pardon.
Oh, we do this once a month.
Once a week in summer, and like maybe once a month in winter.
Well,
so
that
there's your
that
answer.
gets me to my next point of
Yeah.
when we go away.
Yes.
We also purchased some drippers,
drippers.
which we had also previously purchased.
And suddenly, somehow they got sucked into the abyss of our house.
And also, and we're like, oh, I don't know, maybe those ones didn't work so well, but they work exactly the same. It's us.
I know, but do you know what else? They don't actually work that well because, and again, it's probably us. You set up these drippers, which you actually screw on a water bottle that's full of water, and then you spike them into the pot. And they're supposed to drip sort of like 1 drip a day. But we set them up the night before we went overseas last time. And when we woke up in the morning before we departed, all the
water was
bottles
all
were
gone.
empty. So we were like,
Oh, no.
oh, God, this is
So we've
too late.
overwatered them and then they're not going to get watered. We've flooded them and they're not going to get
Yeah.
watered for another 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Next on the list, some hooks to hang the artwork in our house, which we'd also previously purchased.
Many a times.
Many
the sticky little
Little-
Velcro things, they don't work. So
They-
we're onto different hooks.
Yep.
But they currently just still sit on shelves. The hooks, they have not been utilised.
And the artwork is sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Some
Wall, it's floor art at this point.
Yeah. Some paint to fix a little nook in a furniture, little knocked. What word am I
A
looking
little
for? A
chip
little
or
chip in
yeah.
the furniture.
Yeah.
Which Eliza says is my fault as I go at everything like Bull at a Gate, but I
Yeah.
don't recall
It is
doing
absolutely
said
your fault.
thing. And then we bought some storage containers and containers to clean out our spare room.
We don't actually have anywhere to put the storage containers,
But it's nice to be able to just put things from the floor into the containers. At least it looks a little bit tidier.
Yeah.
And lastly, we almost bought a steam cleaner. We probably spent 40 minutes looking at steam cleaners in Bunnings and we got too overwhelmed by which one to choose.
Because
so then
not only does Lib do faces in her car, she also does faces on our living room couch. And if you follow us on social media, you would have seen that I have claimed for a long time that she does skiddies on the couch, and I actually put up a picture of her skiddies on the couch.
I've now got photos of the grime that you've left on the couch. So I don't know what you've done in there. There's some voms and
probably
stuff down the
just
side.
dirty feet, but at least I'm not doing faeces.
I think that's worse.
Anyway, we needed the steam cleaner to clean the couch, and we stood there for ages and looked at the steam cleaners that we'd never considered before in our life, and decided to do more research online. So we left, but then we did purchase one online later.
Yeah.
A pressure washer is something that last visit to Bunnings we walked out with, and that was several months ago, and we have never even unwrapped it to use
I
it.
didn't even know. You said to me in the store, we've got a pressure washer, and I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Do we?
And also, what are we using it on? We have a 1 by 1 meter balcony.
No, but genuinely, what did we buy that for? Was it for the windows?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I think we bought it for the other house we lived at that had a bigger balcony.
Oh, well, but like,
It was
anyway. They clean our windows for us. There's people that come and clean our windows.
I don't know.
But this is a place where our binge shopping really comes to life as well, because we truly cannot go in there for one thing and just leave with that. It's in the same league for me as your Chemist Warehouse, which I've spoken about before, your Kmart's. Where else?
Officeworks. Officeworks is the place that I am going to retract that. Officeworks and IKEA are the places I am most stressed. Truly and honestly, put a heart rate monitor on me. I walk in there to Officeworks, for example, needing one pen. And then you walk in there to a wall of pens and you're not sure what shade of pen you should get, and you're not sure whether you should buy a 1-pack or a 2-pack or a 10-pack or a 20-pack, because if you buy a 10-pack, it's actually probably cheaper than the 1-pack. But if you buy the one, then you could save money. No, you could...
Oh, this is a snooze fest.
I'm just saying,
God.
you actually end up saving money if you buy the 10-pack rather than just the 1-pack. But then if I buy a 10-pack, which is saving me money, then I'm hoarding items that I don't need. And it becomes a real inner dialogue.
Also, we have 100 pens at home. In fact, we've done a story on our Instagram about how we have pens in our cutlery drawer, and that's got people in bloody uproar.
But I just... get so stressed because it's the deals that are offered. Should I buy more than I need because it's going to save me money? But then I worry about how many items I have too many of then. Do you know what I mean?
And don't you reckon when you walk in, particularly to Bunnings, this wave of like, I don't know, Scotty Cam comes over you and you're like, oh my God, I want to do everything and I'm going to do all this handy stuff and I'm going to tidy and I'm going to be amazing, and you buy all this stuff and then you just never end up doing
You think
any
you're
of
bloody Jamie Jury.
Yeah.
Is he a handyman? Jamie
Jury?
Jury?
He's the host of The Block and he does all that garden
Yeah,
guru or whatever it's
yeah.
called.
But, sorry, I just really want to circle back to IKEA.
I hate IKEA more than anything.
Don't ever, if you want to torture yourself, go to IKEA on a hangover. You get dizzy and nauseous because you're just going round and round in circles. You
I'm
can't
dizzy
find
and nauseous
anything
without a hangover in there.
Yeah, and well, that's why ultimate torture is on a hangover. Because if you needed to chunder, where is the bathroom? You can't find anything. You don't know how you got in. You don't know how to get out.
There's a million fucking toilets you could use.
Oh, yeah.
Just use one of the display
not
ones.
plumbed in. Anyway, that's just too much. But Bunnings
kids actually do poos
in the display ones. I think that's a myth.
I
I'd
don't.
love to see it one day, though.
Do you reckon one of your kids would jump on that toilet and do a poops, Rich?
Yes.
Please make it happen and film it all. But Bunnings do it better than IKEA. I would like to see IKEA take a note out of Bunnings' book because it is way more structured, the aisles. There's way more people around to help. And if you're organised, you can actually Google the item that you're after and it tells you what aisle to get it from.
Yes, that's truly,
So sometimes
truly
you don't
wonderful.
even need to speak to another human when you're in there.
But it is lovely speaking to the humans in there. I genuinely, this trip, reckon we were there for, what do you reckon, 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was 2 hours.
And I reckon we spoke to every single staff member that worked on the floor in that place about the different products. You just wander around aimlessly, don't you reckon? You just wander around. You walk up and down every aisle being like, I need that, I need that. It's so huge.
But then also you get decision paralysis.
Yeah.
So like, for example, when we went to the aisle where we were buying the stuff to patch up the furniture you damaged, and we'll have to replace if we can't fix it.
Which I'm going to have to
FYI.
pay for, Eliza
Yeah,
says.
that's what I meant. We just didn't know what to choose because we're not handy people and there were so many options for so many different things. So what we ended up doing was just getting all 10 of them.
We actually did, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were like, oh, well, we don't know. Maybe one of these will work. So we just bought 10.
One thing we did cross off after we spoke to an expert was the epoxy version of something. So he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this is long-lasting, non-removable gear.
But
it's too high-tech for you.
because we are quite experienced in the epoxy space, because we epoxied our block garage very, very well,
The floor.
we thought, the floor, not the walls and the ceiling. We thought we'd just do a little bit more epoxy. It got us quite excited.
No, but where we went wrong with the epoxy in the garage
We sprinkled
was
too many.
they give you sprinkles to put over the top of the sticky surface. But we used all the sprinkles too heavily in one corner. So
section.
what it ended up doing
quite
was being a bit
sparse.
of a gradient of sprinkles. So one heavily sprinkled corner down to like one just single.
I still thought
little
it was truly
confetti
wonderful, though, to be
particle.
honest.
Anyway,
We've actually had people, not that they've seen us on the block and think we're going to know the answer, but just like a random person from the public come up and ask us a question about something
when we're in Bunnings,
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, you girls would know this, wouldn't you?" And we're like, you obviously haven't watched the show.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
So you've never felt dumber. You've truly, truly never felt dumber when you should be in your element and you're not.
Yeah. Oh no, I actually feel a bit out of my, not extremely out of my
yeah.
comfort zone. Worse since the block.
But this is where the staff there are so incredibly wonderful and lovely and helpful. They don't wait for you to come to them. They approach you, don't you reckon? Every time we've been there, they come up to us and they're like, how can we help you? Which is actually quite refreshing because I'm quite used to walking into stores and people not even making eye contact with you or saying hello, which I hate.
No, sometimes when I'm in a clothing store.
Yes.
And someone comes up to me saying, "Can I help you there?" I'm just like, "No, please. I'll let you know if you can help me."
Oh, so please don't, if Eliza walks into a store, say hi to her. God forbid.
No, but sometimes you're just looking and they follow you around and they're like, "Did you need that in that
I don't
size?"
want someone to follow me around, but I wouldn't mind someone just saying hello when I
Okay.
walk in.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
fair.
how you
All right,
going?
that's fair.
Let me know if you need any help,
Okay,
and then
yeah,
leave
great,
you
great.
and then leave you to it.
Yeah, great.
You know the cute people that you see on the Bunnings ads? That's literally the people that work in this store.
Yeah, I think
Like,
it's
that's
because
what
they
they're
are
like. No, I
actual
know, but
workers
I know,
of the
but
store.
isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Because that doesn't usually happen. You usually get people from like an agency or something that
what
are
you
doing
see
the
is what you
ads,
actually physically get.
which is truly, truly wonderful. And we would ask a question and they would know literally everything without having to look, without having to check. They would just be able to take us in the direction, and more often than not, they would walk us there.
Yeah, they're the absolute oracles.
What's an oracle mean?
I think it means a person who knows all about stuff.
Okay. How many people do you truly think were working there on this day? I was trying to think to myself, I reckon there's like 60 aisles.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 60 people.
No.
Oh, there would have been 20.
For the whole store?
Yeah.
I said like 50.
Okay.
Oh my
Maybe.
God. The
Maybe.
store's huge.
Okay. Let's count them next time, Lib, when we go in.
I'm going to ask someone actually next
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Oh, actually, if anyone's listening that works at Bunnings, like a really big Bunnings, let us know how many people are on per
Yeah,
shift.
I'm sure there's different days.
Particularly on a weekend.
Yeah, that they have more staff or whatever.
So we walked away being like, I wonder what training these people get.
Particularly that man, the main man at the front, or
Yeah.
woman, who you ask as you're walking in, where is this? And they say, aisle 24, 3 meters in
Yeah.
to your left, 6 shelves up.
Yeah, it's truly wonderful. So I did a bit of Googling about what sort of training they get. Now, this wasn't actually from the Bunnings website. This was more sort of an AI answer.
Okay.
So this might be all wrong, but this is what it came up with. They offered comprehensive induction programs to new employees, upskilling through formal and informal training, development plans to help team members build on their experience, online training courses, mentorship positions, and supports and encourages the hiring of trade apprentices through structured training pathways. One thing I do love, which I did get from the Bunnings website, is that they call everyone team members, so they don't call them staff or workers or anything. They're team members. They're very big on like team first. And then the wellbeing and growth. They talk a lot about, growth and development and wellbeing on their website. So that's wonderful as well. We asked our followers if any of them had worked at Bunnings or if they knew anyone and what the training was. Now, these are some of the responses. In Bunnings, the products are laid out in store in the same order as you build a house. But like, what in shit's name is the order that you build a house? Like, that means nothing for me. Like, I feel like
is it
that's smart, but
timber, you start with the foundation.
Concrete?
Then
Dirt, concrete, timber, plaster,
nails,
insulation.
screws,
Do they sell insulation?
No.
Paint.
Plaster. Do
Sanders.
they sell plaster? Don't
I
think
said
so.
plaster already.
And
White goods?
well, at the end
We
you
haven't
get
got
the
white goods yet, Rich. Jesus Christ. That's when you're furnishing the joint. Jeez. We're still at the walls.
the outdoor gear.
Carpet.
The outdoor gear is definitely pushed to the end.
Yeah. And that's got its own section. That's easy to navigate.
I wonder if this is true, but if it is wonderful, and I'm going to pay attention next time and collect items in
Order.
a row.
Oh my God, fun. Someone else wrote, on the job training once you're in the position, there's no previous training required. Complete lots of online short courses and mostly learn aisles from stock takes. Imagine stock take in that gear. Jesus. I feel like you'd end it and then have to start all over again. Training is very constant and in depth, and the first month of working there is daunting, then it just becomes second nature. So it sounds like a pretty good place to work.
It sounds kind of essentially like you learn on the job.
Yeah.
Which, my God, imagine your first day.
That'd be scary.
Woo!
That would be scary. While we were there, we had the sweetest man in the plant section help us, did we not?
Oh, he was so nice. He did laugh at us a lot.
I was going to say, I think he could sense that we were sort of flailing a bit when we were trying to choose basil. Because there wasn't just your standard basil there. There was all these weird basil scenarios. So he came over, offered us a hand. Oh, the poor man did not know what he was in for with us, did he? My God.
Well, also we were looking for a lime plant, and the ones that we'd brought forth to purchase were going to need pots the size of our entire balcony.
Because he said to us that we needed pots that were like double or three size the size of the actual plant.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, we didn't take his advice on that.
We did not absorb
And
his information.
we just chose our own plants. And looking at them now, I'm like, oh,
They're
probably
not
a little bit
doing
small.
much. Gee
Probably
whiz.
a little bit small.
They're dwarf, legitimately called dwarf
Lime tree.
Lime tree.
We were sort of just asking for the lowest maintenance, least killable plants and herbs, and what accessories we needed to try and avoid their imminent death, that normally happens in our house.
And he's the man that taught us that you're supposed to be watering every day rather than every month.
But because we chose the wrong size pots purposely, we then had to sort of do a bit of parkour on the way out to try and avoid him because we were like, oh no, we can't possibly run into him because he'll be like, wrong pots.
We did go against his advice just to be able to fit our balcony scenario. We just wanted what we wanted.
I know, but then they're just going to die. Anyway, then when we were trying to get the paint, we also had a wonderful gentleman help us. So he was a young lass that also, I think, saw us.
A young lad rather than a lass, I'd say.
Oh, sorry, a young lad that saw us in despair in the paint aisle and made his way over. And once again, we just tried to tell him what we thought was the appropriate thing to take home. And we thought we were better than what he suggested.
Yeah, he kept on suggesting things and I was like, nah, I think I'm just going to do this. And he's like, you can, but it's wrong. And I'm like, I think I'm just going to stick with it.
To the point where he was like, oh, let's maybe go ask my colleague then, who's experienced in the paint part.
And I said to both those gentlemen, who we then had a round table discussion for quite a while, I was like, are we the highlight of your day? And everyone went silent.
I think we walked away and they would have been like,
Kill
those
us. Yeah.
fucking twits. Those absolute dumb
They've ruined
twits.
our day.
But I tell you what, there are that many hot guys there. Every corner you turn, every aisle you go down, everywhere you look, there is a new wonderful specimen. Specimen. What is actually wrong with me? So I can't speak.
So the other joy of it is that often the partners aren't with these men.
But see, this is where I think we struggle though, because we're like, oh, look at those like hotties. They're probably there to get products to renovate their house with their wife or build their baby's crib or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's probably...
That's usually the case for us.
Yeah,
What do
see,
you mean?
exactly. For guys.
The hot men you speak of.
Yeah.
Don't need to go so silent
Speak
on
for
that.
yourself, Rich.
So would you ever take your wife Jess into Bunnings? Would you ever go with your wife Jess into Bunnings?
Yeah, all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're the exception then, because I swear I rarely see
same.
females and kids with the man.
Like that's something you'll just like leave it to the guy.
Well, maybe they
That's
are
quite
single.
sexist,
You
isn't
should
it?
go there weekly then.
Yes,
Throw
but
it a line.
It's the new dating app But also, do you ever go in with your 3 kids? Because that has got to be
Oh,
absolute
hell.
madness.
Oh, yes.
Are they just grabbing hammers?
Yeah,
and
what are they
it's
doing?
a dangerous spot for a man to be in that situation.
Oh, hell.
Women like yourselves just come up to us and go, "Oh, isn't he beautiful?" I go,
Oh.
"Yeah, he is."
And here's my wife, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No. But,
That's
oh,
a
have you
situation
ever-
where you just leave them in the car
This is a real tangent
with
question.
the window cracked down.
It's legal.
Have you ever taken your 3 young boys into an
IKEA.
actual candy store?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Or a
yeah.
toy store?
Yes.
What happens?
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Try and be a good dad.
Well, we
probably.
get our version of it with Bunnings. Why can't they?
Oh,
Because
that's nice.
surely they just rock up to the trolley with 10 items and then scream the place down when you say no to
But
all
also
of it.
eat half the shit before you've got
Yeah.
to the checkout.
I've never thought about this.
I need you to observe and report back because I just think that you would have never gone into one for
I
fear
will
of
try going to a lolly shop with my 3
Great,
boys
great.
and let you know what happens.
amazing.
Wonderful. That's our next episode is going to a candy store
with kids.
with kids.
Again, I
Yes.
think that's illegal. Just leave the van at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell you what, there is nothing.
You and I walking in with 3 kids that aren't our own. That is absolute police.
yeah.
Call the
But
cops.
also, I would just be like, go your
Hardest.
hardest.
And Papa Rich gave us his
Yeah,
credit
yeah.
card. Anyway.
For me, there is truly nothing more attractive than someone handy, a guy like holding a drill in his tradie uniform, looking handy. I love the idea of that. Nothing better.
Same.
And just someone that just knows what they're doing
Yes,
in that respect.
I would happily date a trades
Same.
person. Someone capable in their field, as
Oh,
you
here
know,
we go
is
again.
hot AF to me. Just capability in their field, capability and passion in their chosen field is
Oh.
hot. It's true. I say it every day of the week. We tried so hard on the block. I went into the block. I think we've mentioned this before, but just, like, forever going to fight in tradie. It is going to be here. And then as every tradie entered our house, we said, are you single? And they proceeded to say no.
Absolutely.
And they said it.
not, and never will be.
And they said it with so much speed that we knew it was all a lie and that we were just freaking people out.
Genuinely, Bunnings is the new dating app.
Yeah.
Like, swap Tinder for Timber. And Grinder for angle grinders.
Shut up. Have you written
Thank
this
you.
yourself?
I made that up. Yeah, I did make a note of that. Thank you so much.
Oh, my God.
Bunnings is where it's if you want to pick up, or in our case, it would just be massive pervs because we would never actually
Pervs.
go and speak to anyone.
Yeah,
what did I
yeah.
say?
Yeah, sorry. I just didn't hear you.
Sorry. I
just
thought
was-
I'd just slow it again.
Yeah.
I genuinely think we should make it a weekly task just to go there and
I'm
walk
always
around and
happy to just have a wander.
check out some of
But
that ass.
do you know what we need to do? Not bring it. We need to not bring any money because that's our downfall and it really plays on our binge shopping issue. So if we're going to go, we just have to be creeps that do laps but don't purchase anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you know that the Bunnings in Mornington Peninsula in Victoria actually hosts a singles night? I don't know if this is a regular thing or if it was just a one-off because their Instagram group is on private and they haven't accepted me into their group yet.
They have
but
standards,
how
obviously.
wonderful is that?
Yeah, it's a great idea. That is actually a great idea.
Genius.
Didn't Peking Duck do a gig in a Bunnings? I think what we need to do is host a There's something here. I'm feeling ideas.
mate,
we need to
it's
host a
already
single
there.
night, but in town, in the city.
Okay.
Bunnings, if you're listening, we are your hosts
Yep.
for a singles night in Bunnings, and it's tradies that come
I
and
was just going
single
to say
ladies.
it's literally only tradies. It can't just be anyone
no,
rocking up.
can't just be any riff.
No, it has to be hot single tradies.
I also think though female handymen, and there's not enough of them.
Yes, agreed.
Are wonderful.
I
Surely
love-
people find that attractive.
A female tradie is heaven. Even though we've got a lot of roadworks going on around us at the moment, and when
Yeah.
you see one of those ladies holding the stop slow
Yeah, the lollipop
poles or
ladies.
the lollipop ladies, I'm like, yeah, girl.
They make a fortune,
they
by
make
the
an
way.
absolute
I've considered
fortune.
going into that field.
Because
Truly.
aren't you just like standing there and twirling
Standing
the
there,
pole?
but I think it's the hours you have to do and stuff, like through the night.
Yeah,
Often you have to work. But also a female that can change a tyre.
Yeah, nothing more. I wonder if guys find that attractive.
Because I, as a heterosexual female, find that attractive in a female or a male.
That's why we need to get up to date on the
We need to
trade
try
scenarios.
and change a tyre. Learn how to change a tyre.
But back to what we were saying before about I
Yeah.
reckon if they're there on a Saturday or Sunday, look, they are probably married, but also it's quite a turn on because it means they're prepared to go and get the tools. So they probably are not super hungover from the night before, which means they probably haven't been out drinking the night before, which means they're probably quite health conscious, which means they take pride in their health. Oh, that is my cup of tea, tell you
why
what.
do you think they're
Because I just
not
think
single if they're there on a weekend?
because I just think everyone's single. I just think every guy there is just there to get
stuff
products
for their
wife
wife.
or their fiance or their baby.
Do you think all the single guys are at the local pub or at the footy or something?
run club?
This is some serious generalisation gear here.
I know.
Prove or deny us. Well, maybe we should stand out the front and do a survey next time we're at
Or do you know what?
Bunnings.
Maybe they're there for just some escaping kids. Would you do that? Rich be like, oh, I've got to go get something at Bunnings just to escape the kid house for a while.
Absolutely, and a sausage for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Grim times in Rich's house.
We wanted to know if anyone has picked up in Bunnings. So we solicited answers on our
Yeah.
Instagram page.
And
to
everyone
see-
said, I need to know the answers. So
yes. So we are sharing
turn up the
the
mic.
results.
I mean, the speaker.
So I'm going to read a few of the results that we got in. One lady responded with, yes, and now we are married. Oh, that was so delightful. To which I responded, please give me a play-by-play.
Yeah.
And she didn't exactly give me a play-by-play, but she just said, he approached me, I was the worker, and he was the customer.
Oh my God, imagine if someone approached
Approached
you when
you.
you were working somewhere and he was half decent. You can only dream of that scenario.
Well, imagine if someone approached you full stop.
Anywhere. Great call. Great call.
No, but have definitely considered just hanging out there to see. Haha. I hear it's the latest pickup joint here on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Negative, and I've wandered around Bunnings at all different times to test the theory. Well done, you. That's real good.
I'm going to get some of that gear happening.
No, but I've been told which ones are the best to pick up tradies. And so I was like, well, don't gatekeep that. And she said, apparently Ashfield in Sydney. So that's where we're off to
Looks
tomorrow.
like we're off on an excursion to Ashfield or wherever in
But
Sydney.
truly, those people in Sydney, any single gals, head to Ashfield. And then, finally, I'm now married to my Bunnings hookup. We both worked there. Day one meeting each other, I worked with the fertiliser, so it must have been the way I smelt that attracted her, or maybe how the green apron hung on her hips. But it was on, never looked back. Our wedding vows had the words, where lowest prices really are just the beginning.
Oh, stop.
My favourite one, though, which isn't like super positive, but it was just, I can't pick up anywhere. The only thing I pick up at Bunnings is the sausage sizzle, and I've never felt more seen in my life.
Oh, I'm like her. Except you won't even let me pick up a sausage.
Yeah.
What are the best days to go? Weekends, surely.
Weekends.
Or trades are always there during the week.
Or at like 7 a.m, but
But-
who's doing that?
And they're also probably in a rush.
Yeah. And I think you as well, have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Bunnings. Now, I hate how dumb we look when we
Yeah.
go there. I hate how much money we spend because we always
Yep.
spend far, far, far too much. I
Yep.
hate how little self-control I
Yep.
have when I'm in there.
Yep.
And how we just waste so much time. What I love, though, is the staff.
Yep.
I love the eye candy. We
Yep.
love the products.
Yep.
We love the smell of the sausage sizzle.
Yep.
And we actually do sort of love the aisle perusing, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it makes you feel like you can achieve
Yes,
anything.
It does. It truly, truly does. All right. Hall of Fame.
Or in English, Hall of Fame. This week's inductee, I'm not going to say her name just to protect her, but
Anonymity.
this is more funny than it is sort of embarrassing.
Okay, good.
Love here from another Try Before You Die OG from Glen Osmond.
Oh, that's where we used to live.
That's where we used to live.
In Adelaide.
Who also played blissfully in the Little Cemetery. Because if you missed our episode with our family, we talked about how when we were kids, we'd say to mum and dad, just popping down to the corner to play in the cemetery. And they didn't think that was odd. But we would literally make dances around that. What are those?
The mausoleum.
Mausoleums. Literally do plays
The tombs.
and speak to the gravestones and leave flowers and toys and things. And very, very, very odd. And I said, oh, stop, I am dying. You've got to tell me more.
That's
and
so
she
good.
said, I actually took my 2 daughters there to play. And they just looked at me as if I had lost my mind, said nothing, and got back in the car. I only then realised how strange and inappropriate the whole dancing on top of graves was.
So inappropriate.
That was so fun. But I think There's obviously a few of us out there who did it, who enjoyed our time there, but upon reflection realise how creepy it truly is.
But do you know what? I brought this up to my friend Jodie at work the other day, and she said the same thing. And she said her 2 boys go and play in the graveyard too. So I feel like it's still a bit of a thing.
I think it's because the kids don't fully comprehend what they're
And also
dancing
there's
on
something,
and around.
There's something sort of, I don't know, mysterious and
Spiritual.
like, and just, I don't know, bit interesting about it and eerie
naughty.
and yeah. So I still, even though it's highly inappropriate, I still get why people like doing
Are we going to
it.
let my child, dance on the graves?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
In fact, I'll let it dance on your grave.
Oh, wow. That escalated. That's all I really have for
Actually,
you today.
just wait.
Oh,
We'll get cremated, so we probably won't have graves. Well,
Okay.
I want to get cremated. Do you?
why don't we make our next
What we want to do when we die?
trying to be cremated?
Can I just cremate one of your toes or, oh my God, can we cut
Cankles.
your cankles off?
Yeah, you can
Cremate
cremate my
them.
cankles. Do you know what? Another topic for another day is the fact that I had a death day at my university
Yeah,
when I
that's
studied journalism. We
fucked. And you
must
went to
discuss
a
the death
morgue.
day. I had to watch someone be cremated. It's just
I've
it ain't
also got
right. That shit ain't right.
I've also got a wonderful death story to tell as well.
Okay, let's do it. Let's note it. We're noting it down.
Okay,
You
death
guys,
episode.
You guys, come back round. You don't want to miss
We've done
those.
a lot of birth episodes, so we need some death.
death. Oh
God,
God,
this is
It's
very
taking
morbid,
a dark
very
turn.
morbid.
Love you.
Follow Try Before You Die wherever you get your potties and follow us on Instagram, Eliza and Liberties. Eliza and Liberty. It's not Liberties. And also, once Spotify's back up and running, give us a 5-star review or go to the Apple. That's where you're going to give us a 5-star review. Thank you so much. Bye.
Try before you die.